at Infowars.com. But on top of that, for a limited time, we have 10% off special. You just put in the promo code WATER at checkout, and it takes 10% off all the water filtration systems at Infowars.com. Get the 10% off right now at Infowars.com in the shopping cart area. And you can also call 888-253-3139 here at our office, and your purchase also makes this broadcast possible. But it's an amazing filtration system. I know we've got it on the RV. They've got the little portable one. It's just a bunch of systems. Check them out today. ProPure, discounted at Infowars.com. The name in gravity filtration systems. Let's talk to KJ in Georgia. You're on the air. Thank you for holding.
Alex, this is KJ coming at you from FEMA Sector 4. How are you today, sir?
Good. Alex Jones from FEMA Sector 6.
Alex, I'm calling you because down here, myself and my fellow Info Warriors, we're launching a massive offensive against the New World Order on Sunday, April 15th.
Good.
Our target is the NDAA and Senator Chip Rogers. He's our state senator from our district. He's having a town hall meeting at the Woodstock Public Library on Sunday, April 15th at 2 o'clock. And I'm calling to get this message out to all the fellow Info Warriors out there who are kind of local. Hopefully you can come out and join us. So basically, Senator Chip Rogers, like every other GOP senator in red states and really across the country, he's faced with a big upswell of liberty-minded folks who are in the GOP who are really changing the complexion of the party. And so he has been busy trying to co-opt that movement while still trying to play patty cakes and, you know, keep doing the hokey-pokey with the establishment. Now, so far, he's been paying us a lot of lip service. He's been patting us on the head, shaking our hands. I've been going to these town hall meetings, but he hasn't really been introducing any great legislation. I'll give you an example of some of the legislation he introduced this year that he has on his website bragging about. He did introduce NASCAR license plates. Now we can have NASCAR license plates in Georgia, so, you know, we're very happy about those. And he also introduced an internet sales tax, or he didn't introduce that, I'm sorry, but he voted for it, and he did support it. It passed out of his Senate. And now also we're going to pay a tax on used car sales. So private used car sales are going to be taxed here in Georgia. So we've got some great things, great victories for liberty. Of course, I'm being facetious. But right now I've got a group of probably about 25 people strong. We're going to go out to this town hall meeting, and we're really going to make our presence felt. We're going to demand...
Good, and everybody else needs to do similar things. Good to hear from you. Great job, KJ. Let's jam in another one here. Let's go ahead and talk to Mike in New York. Mike, you're on the air.
Alex, I'm so glad you take this call. I tried to call earlier in the week about your Easter agenda, but this is a call on a necessity. Before I get to that, I just mentioned maybe your friend Charlie Sheen. You've heard of a movie, 1988, The Last Temptation of Christ, Willem Dafoe?
Yeah, it's a work of fiction, yeah.
Work of fiction, maybe, yeah. It's a powerful movie.
And
anyway.
again, I've known Charlie Sheen for about 8 years. I don't endorse some of the problems he's had, but he's a good guy at heart. Specifically, what's going on with Charlie Sheen?
Nothing more about Charlie Sheen. It's my own predicament. It started a couple years ago, a problem with gardening. I've grown my own vegetables.
Wait a minute. You're not one of those Americans that thinks you can have a garden. Whoa. Whoa, stay there. All right, we're into hour number 2 here. Wide open telephones coming up. Washington Post suggests Bilderberg Group to pick Romney's running mate. What does that signify in the media that they're going that public after telling their readers it didn't exist for decades? I guess their deceptions don't work anymore, Too little, too late. Right-wing group slams HBO's Angry Boys for sexualizing children with girl sucking on bleep cup. I mean, and then the media is like, oh, those right-wingers, they don't like, 6-year-old kid doing sexual acts on TV. Oh, they're such squares. Oh, they're such squares. They're not into mutilation. Oh, they're such squares. They're not into being amputees. People are into having their arms and legs chopped off now, and the really trendy ones get both arms and legs chopped off and then live in a box and you wear a diaper as an adult with your arms and legs chopped off. Thousands have it in the U.S. It's the ultimate in trendiness. And they told the Chinese empresses, they said, you are royal. You have to stay in this forbidden city. Next, your feet. It's very beautiful and vain to have small feet. Let us bind them so you can't walk. And we must feed you. You have to have long fingernails. And then they just became addled prisoners of the ruling class bureaucracy. And that's what they do now. They just tell women, you know, hey, you got to throw the men out of your house and hate them. It's trending. They're like, let's do it. And they come out and say, chop your arms and legs off. Everybody's like, hacking them off. Blood spraying. I love it. Trendy. Of course, they have lesser degrees of it. It's true. It's a big thing now. They even made a film about it a few years ago to get shot. So you go to the artist, and via free association, people are allowed to do it. And then they'll put like a 45 or 338, 357 up under your arm and then shoot you. So you've got a big splatter wound in the back to look, you know, really tough when you're at the pool, man. It's also, women are getting scars on their faces now to just show how tough they are. Just how into death they are. Don't worry. That's all just the preparation for the bioweapons to be released. You'll be dead enough soon. You'll be a rotting skull that you think so beautiful. You'll get what you want, probably. I'll go back to Mike in New York. Mike, what was your point here in the 2 minutes we've got left? What was the point you were raising about an evil garden?
Talking about your point, Alex, don't you know it's called Naughty America? I mean, it's the biggest porn production, and they hype on, you know, sweet lips, and this is okay, and it's great, and it's glamorous, and trying to attract young fellows and young gals into the industry. But
what happened to your evil garden?
The evil garden. 2 years ago, neighbors moved in and out next door, and they take down the fences, put up the fences, and the woods is close by, so. Woodchucks in particular are invading our property, our residential area, okay, 1/2 acre lots and so on and so forth. And I'm growing all my vegetables, you know, in pots, raised pots.
So you're not allowed, what, let me guess, you're not allowed to kill the holy woodchucks.
Well, we tried every way we could to capture them with having heart traps and so on and so forth. And,
just use a high-powered pellet gun. Your pea-brain neighbors will never know. So what happened?
Okay, so, yeah, I thought about that and stuff, but first we called the law, and when, you know, a raccoon is sitting out on a Sunday afternoon, 11 o'clock in the morning...
you got to call the police. That's what they've done. You got to call the police for a raccoon?
You got to follow the law. That's what they got us trained to do. So anyways, a police officer comes out, who I've known. I went to elementary school.
Okay, listen, I got to hear the end of the story, but you got 1 minute on the other side. I got to hear about you call the police for a raccoon. You know, you can build a very inexpensive silencer for a 410 shotgun. We'll be right back. Stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we're going to finish up with Mike here, a caller. If you just joined us, he's calling us from somewhere in New York. When they have woodchucks, raccoons invading their property, and I guess the police are saying you're not allowed to do anything to them. In fact, I've seen cases in New York, in the country, in a rural area. Remember like 15 years ago, he got arrested for killing a rat? And then it was such a big deal that he'd killed a rat that neighbors called the police on him, and he went to jail for animal cruelty. Now, remember, you can buy decon rat killer all day, but he was arrested. Again, there's no law. You've got to take a vaccine, but more and more they're taking your kids. It's a lawlessness. So if you've got raccoons invading and getting in your trash can or eating your backyard garden, just get a high-powered pellet gun and start shooting. I mean, that's what I'd do. And I was joking about building a silencer. That's illegal. But they do have primitive silencers that you can use, you know, on a shotgun or something if you don't want to bother your neighbors. But obviously don't use a shotgun in the city. I mean, I've got a friend out in the country, and he's got a line of tires out in front of his little shooting bench. He lives in the country. He can shoot, you know, all day if he wants. But he doesn't like to bug his neighbors that are, you know, 10 acres over when he's shooting high-caliber, you know, guns that are really noisy. And for a long time, he shoots through the barrels at the target. And so looking at the scope, you don't even see the barrels around it, but it just dissipates the audio to an incredible level. In fact, my dad was out there at the mutual friend's house just a few months ago shooting and just said it was amazing that it was such a... But again, I digress with a factoid there. I mean, look, a Daisy Red Ryder that costs like $50. My children have got those, and they're incredibly accurate. In fact, I felt kind of bad the other day across the creek. It's about, from my porch to across the little creek, it's probably about 50 yards. And there was a bird sitting up in a tree. And I was shooting, showing my son, that he could shoot things that far away with it, but how to elevate. And I just knocked that bird right off its perch and killed it. I wasn't even trying to kill it. I was just trying to shoot in its general direction to make it fly. But a Red Ryder single pump won't kill it. Probably won't even pierce the skin, the raccoon. You start lighting them up with that, they're not going to come around. If you have fish ponds and they're coming in and eating your fish, it's time to, I mean, my parents have them invading their house if they forget and don't close the dog door for their French bulldog. And my dad nicely goes in with a broom, and one time he had, I think 14 of them in the house. Raccoons are really smart. And I said, listen, Dad, you got to start shooting them with a pellet gun. They think they run everything. You pull up, you walk up. Sometimes as it's getting dark, you see coons on the roof looking at you. My dad's like, oh, I kind of like them. I'll just restock the pond. So there's coons waiting around eating all his fish. That's why mountain lions eat people out in California, not in other states. Because in other states, they're hiding because they know you'll shoot them. Same thing with wolves or coyotes. Now coyotes are coming into built-up areas, and for the first time in over 100 years are killing people. It's always the same. A woman is walking at the park, runs, falls. 5 coyotes chew her throat out. If you wouldn't have run from them, they wouldn't have thought you were a prey animal. We got mountain lions here. It was in one of the local papers just a few months ago that somebody had one of those deer feeder cameras out, motion cameras. And there was that big old mountain lion. We got big ones around here. Those things are so scared of humans, and they should be. Because if I see one in my backyard, I'm going to shoot it. Because if I don't, they will kill my little children that look like juicy, delectable treats to them. They need to learn that we're the dominant species. They're like roaches, and they're beautiful animals, but they're all over the place. They're not letting people kill polar bears up in Canada and Alaska in many areas. So they're now starting to kill people. They're coming into the towns. They're starting to come further and further south. Their numbers are up conservatively 3-fold. Some estimates are 5-fold. I'm now digressing. I've got to move quicker to calls. Okay, Mike, so long story short, you're supposed to call the police when the raccoons are assaulting you. Sounds like you live in a suburb, quasi-rural area. Tell us where you live. Finish the story.
Orange County, New York, and you're kind of on the right track. A friend, police officer, comes out, and we tell him about the story and stuff. And you know what he recommends? Something you didn't discuss, but a CB22. And if come to find out, it's totally legal because there's no gunpowder in it. It's just primer, and it doesn't exceed 700 feet per second, which is coming up in the trial. And the ironic thing about this is this cop, I'm so angry at, is that he came up and lied that he didn't have any idea